Joining us now to talk more about this is Lauren Johnson-Norris, criminal defense lawyer at Johnson Criminal Law Group. Lauren, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So what do we know from the proceeds today?
Well, the closing argument finished. The prosecution is committed and has stated that they have proven that Combs not only was in charge of this entire enterprise, but that this enterprise was a criminal enterprise. And so that means that he used his power, control, and influence to get people to commit crimes as a group. So those crimes were everything from human trafficking to forced labor, those sex crimes, as well as arson. And they are basically putting together the dots and saying, we have proven each and every element of the crime.
Now, during this trial, Diddy did not take the stand, and the defense called no witnesses. How will the defense counter the prosecution's narrative?
Sometimes the defense will not call someone to the stand if they believe that the prosecution has not shown sufficient evidence. Their argument most certainly here will be that the prosecution didn't prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. They're going to take apart each and every one of the crimes. So, for example, stating that domestic violence, well, a crime is not the crime that's charged here. Really, the acts that occurred were personal acts, that people had grudges with him, and that while he was committing some crimes, they didn't amount to a racketeering conspiracy. So they will focus on the insufficiency of the evidence brought by the prosecution.
What key legal points should jurors focus on?
Well, the jurors are going to need to look at the evidence to determine what witnesses were credible, who they believed. That really is what this case will come down to. They will look at Cassie Ventura's testimony and say whether or not they think that she was consenting to these acts, why she was in the relationship for so long, if ultimately she was being coerced.
And how long might it be before we have a verdict?
Well, we know that the closing on the defense side is tomorrow. That should be for a few hours, and I expect that that the jurors will deliberate next week. It could be a matter of days. Hopefully, they'll go through all of the evidence and use that time to get to the right outcome.
That is our time. Lauren, thank you very much for being here with us today. That is Lauren Johnson-Norris, criminal defense lawyer at Johnson Criminal Law Group.